Buckeye Nation, what's poppin'? Crazy Dog coming at you on the Buckin' Crazy YouTube channel with my Ohio State Buckeyes, UCLA Bruins, Week 12 game preview as our still #1 ranked, still undefeated at 9-0, 6-0 in the Big Ten, Ohio State Buckeyes are back at the Horseshoe for what will be their third and final night game of the regular season. I say that because next week they haven't officially announced the start time, but it's going to be between noon and 4 p.m. against Rutgers on senior day at the Horseshoe. It is what it is. Not mad about it. But yeah, Buckeyes back under the lights this week at the Horseshoe as they welcome the 3-6 UCLA Bruins to town. And what's crazy is how long it's been since we've played UCLA. Of course, this is the first matchup between the two teams as conference mates. The last time we faced UCLA was all the way back in 2001 when UCLA actually beat Ohio State 13-6. They faced off in Columbus back in 1999 and Ohio State won 42-20. Wow. Yeah, they've faced off a total of 9 times. Ohio State's won 4, UCLA's won 4 with 1 tie. And that tie came back in 1976. So yeah, this will be the 10th time that these two teams have faced off in history. And like I said, this is the first time that they're facing off as conference mates in the Big Ten. So this is essentially the tiebreaker. Yep. And you look at how these two teams have looked this year. Obviously, Ohio State undefeated, 9-0, 6-0 in the conference, coming off a pretty impressive win over Purdue, despite the fact that they kind of did look like they were just going through the motions. Although Ryan Day has said that he prioritized depth last week because, of course, no Tywone Malone, no Carnell Tate, and even Arvell Reese got a few drives off to start. But we did see him out there eventually. But yeah, no Carnell Tate, no Tywone Malone. And even Ryan Day said, had that game been close, those two probably would have played. But, Purdue's not very good. Same thing with UCLA. So, utilize your depth. Get these youngsters out there. Let them get some run out there, make some plays. And they did. Ohio State still won 34-10. Julian Sayin continues his Heisman campaign. And it's funny because you go on Twitter after this game was done, right? You see what Indiana did. Of course, I actually did kind of a Kevin Harlan calling both games last week on the main channel, doing Ohio State and then doing the end of Penn State, Indiana. And man, the glazing for Mendoza after barely, and I mean barely, beating a 3-win Penn State team on the road. The same team that we beat 38-14. And Julian Sayin absolutely torched them. And like I said after that game against Penn State, it should have been 38-7. But we fumbled before half. They got the ball, went down and scored. They didn't do the rest of the game. Honestly, against Purdue, it should have been 34-3. But, they got a charity touchdown at the very end against backups. Congratulations. What's actually funny is Ohio State has scored 30 plus points, I think, almost every week. Yeah. The only weeks that they did not score 30 plus points, week 1 against Texas and against Washington. And they still won 24-6. Speaking of Washington, you look at the Huskies and you compare them to UCLA, you see one similarity. They both have a quarterback that can run the rock. Damon Williams, very good. What did we do? We shut his ass down. Couldn't do nothing. Couldn't do anything against us. I remember that week heading into the game, Husky fans were talking like, yeah, man, Denzel Boston, watch out for him. Watch out for Jonah Coleman. What did they do again? Because they didn't do crap. They had chances. They didn't take advantage. Williams only threw for 173 yards, although he was 18 for 22. So he was efficient, just didn't do much. Jonah Coleman, 13 carries, 70 yards. Wow. Of course, Nico, as you guys know by now, is making his second trip to Columbus in his career. Because if you remember, last year he was with Tennessee. And of course, they came to the shoe for the first round of the college football playoff. And we all remember what happened in that game, right? Now, in case you forgot, let me refresh your memory real quick. Okay? Let's refresh your memory and talk about what the heck we did to him. Because let's just say he probably was happy to get out of there. In fact, I remember they said that we cracked not one, but two of his helmets. And I'll never forget, too, heading into that game against Tennessee, Vols fans were talking out their ass. Talking about, Neyland North and we're going to take over and everything. Yeah, there was quite a few Vols fans there. There was a ton of Vols fans. But you know what made it even better? When we were kicking their teeth down their throat, by the end of the game, the spots where the Vols fans would have been, empty seats. Yeah. But yeah, in that game against Tennessee, the last time Nico came to town, he went 14 of 31 for 104 passing yards. And if you're wondering, did he do anything on the ground? She did. He had 2 touchdowns, 20 carries, 47 yards. He had 2 touchdowns. I think both were inside the 5, though. But he didn't do anything through the air. Man. Still crazy that we did that to Tennessee, man. We shut their fans up big time. And now you look at what he's coming in to Columbus with this year. Not nearly as talented of a team. Obviously, UCLA fired their coach. And they had a nice little run. They won 3 in a row. Granted, the teams, you look back at it, not that good. Penn State, yeah, they did contribute to James Franklin getting fired. They beat Penn State 42-37 at home. They went to East Lansing and beat Sparty 38-13. Ooh. And then they hosted Maryland and beat them 20-17. And what has happened since? Oh, they got their teeth kicked down their throat and they lost to Nebraska. They got smoked by Indiana, 56-6. They got the will to live, what is it? The soul and the will to live beaten out of them by Indiana. Yeah, it's tough. Indiana, too. That's even worse. In fact, how did Nico do in that game? Because you look at that game and think, okay, how did Mendoza do? And how did Nico do? Mendoza, 15 of 22, 3 touchdowns and a pick. Nico, by the way, 168 passing yards for Mendoza. Nico, 13 of 27, 113 passing yards, 2 interceptions. I believe there was even a pick 6 in there, too. Yeah. There was a pick 6. Now, on the other side, though, UCLA did get 2 interceptions on Mendoza. Lawrence and Scooter Jackson. So they did get their lick back there. But that's about it. All they got against Indiana was 2 field goals. Mendoza, yeah, 15 of 22, 168 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. That's tough. So, I already know if Julian goes out there and doesn't do what Mendoza did, because, Hoosier fans are going to look at the common opponents, right? They'll look at what they did against Illinois and what we did. Oh, yeah, we kicked their ass. You didn't. But then on the other side, we beat the crap out of Penn State and they barely won. And it took a Mendoza legacy drive at the very end and another classic Jim Knowles defensive disaster class to lose that game for Penn State. That's tough. So you could say that was another Colton-Nicky derp drive too to end the game. Because they could have ended the game on offense, but no. They gave Mendoza the ball at the end and he made him pay for it. Can't even lie though, that Omar Cooper catch at the end was pretty sick. Not gonna lie. That's really the only props I'm gonna give them, really, because wow, you barely beat Penn State. Yeah, we smoked them. Yeah, that's tough. You compare the stat leaders for these two teams. Of course, Julian's saying 2,491 passing yards on 203 of 251 passing, 24 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions. In fact, last week was his first interception since what, non-con games? Right? Like, damn. I mean, he's going to throw picks because sometimes he'll get fooled. It happens. Just don't let it happen again. Right? Don't let it kill you. And luckily, that one didn't. So, oh well, it happens. Nico, 165 for 259, 12 touchdowns, 7 picks, throwing for damn near 1,700 passing yards. He's also the leading rusher for UCLA as well. 96 carries, 474 yards, 4 touchdowns. Bo Jackson, almost 100 carries himself. He's at 95 carries for 613 yards, 2 touchdowns. He should have way more touchdowns, but when we get in the red zone, they automatically go to CJ Donaldson. And yeah, honestly, I wish they could give it to Bo a few times, but it is what it is, right? Gilmer is the leading receiver for UCLA, 33 receptions, 395 yards, 2 touchdowns. Whereas, of course, Jeremiah Smith, 65 receptions, 862 receiving yards, 10 touchdowns. He can easily surpass 1,000 yards in this game. Legit. Anthony Jones is the leading sack getter for UCLA with 1.5. We're at week 12, and their leading sack getter has 1.5 sacks, which tells me they don't get to the quarterback. And if you can't get the I almost said Justin Fields. Well, still, if you can't get the Julian Sand, he's gonna cook you. And then, of course, for the Buckeyes, the leading sack getters, Kerry with 7. And then leading tackler for UCLA is Vaughns with 88. And Arvell Reese leads the Buckeyes with 55. That tells me that running backs are getting to the second level a lot against UCLA. That's what that tells me. If you have a corner that's leading tackler, either he's getting bullied a lot or running backs are getting to the second and third level. That's what that tells me. Now, of course, Ohio State, as you'd expect, is a heavy, heavy favorite. 31.5-point favorites against UCLA. That's crazy for a conference game. But, UCLA stinks, so Ohio State should be able to cover. And then total 47.5. Ohio State, once again, could score 47 on their own. That's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, you look at the state of the Big Ten right now. there's really like maybe 5 or 6 teams that have a legit chance at making the Big Ten title game. Of course, you have Indiana and Ohio State up top, both undefeated. You have the one-loss teams, USC, Oregon, and the team up north. And I guess you could say Iowa is in there too. But they would need a damn miracle to get in the freaking Big Ten championship game. Because they would not only need to win the final games, but they would need the team up north, Oregon, and USC to all lose, I believe, one more game. And then, obviously, Ohio State and Indiana need to lose, which, I mean, you never know, but I don't see it in the cards right now. But we'll see. Don't want to, speak too loudly and start guaranteeing stuff because you know how that goes. But yeah, Ohio State's looked great this year, aside from a few sloppy drives on both sides, but they have looked like a damn machine. And UCLA, well, not very good. Yeah. I'm pretty sure a lot of those players on their team are just waiting for the transfer portal to open so they can pack their bags and dip as quick as possible. But looking at their team, yeah, record stinks. They have some solid players. Obviously, on offense, they have Nico. The running backs are solid. Anthony Woods, Javian Thomas, even Jalen Berger, former Sparty player. Receivers are solid, Quasi Gilmore or Gilmer. Rico Flores, former Fighting Irish. Mikey Matthews, he's been around a bit. They have quite a few transfers all over the board, especially on defense in the secondary. Their entire starting secondary seems to be all transfers. Yeah. Corner, you have Robert Stafford, Roderick Pleasant, and Scooter Jackson. And then at safety, Cole Martin and Key Lawrence. Yeah. And it's not like they're all redshirt seniors either. You have one redshirt senior transfer, and the others are all redshirt sophomores. So they have at least one more year out there. At least. Oh, because technically they should be juniors. So really, there's actually one junior, Scooter Jackson, one redshirt senior, Key Lawrence, and the others are redshirt sophomores in the secondary. So if they did redshirt, that would be mostly juniors and one senior. Yeah. Very veteran group right there. That's for sure. They're going to have their hands full this week, especially if Carnell Tate plays. Which it sounds like he probably will. I mean, they held him out last week because I guess he had tightness while warming up, and you don't really want to test that. I mean, I know they played on actual, natural grass, but you don't want to test it. The last thing we want to do is to have him playing low-key injured and have him go on a route and have him step wrong and snap his freaking hamstring or something. And then we lose him for the year. It's Purdue, right? Now, like Ryan Day said, if things had gotten scary, he would have gotten in there and helped him out. But there's no reason to, risk injury. Let him take the game off. It's against Purdue. Let these other dudes show out. And they kind of did. All right, so with all that being said, let's finally get into this freaking preview now that this video's gone almost 18 freaking minutes. Oh my God. You've been yapping for 20 minutes and I haven't even gotten into the freaking main part of the video yet. See? Man, this is crazy. I start talking and next thing I look at the timer and it says 19 minutes. This is going to be a long one. I'm going to keep going too. This is going to be one of my longest previews to date. This video is going to take 2 hours to upload. All right, anyways, let's get into the main part of the video here, all right? So we're going to start off, of course, with the visits and the boom watch. As you see, another pretty long list of visitors, highlighted by the possible flip watch candidates. Obviously, Braxton Rambert, CJ Bronaugh, coming in. We've known that for a while. But how about Darius McKinley? Now you notice he's a defensive tackle. We have 4 committed. People be like, wait, they backed off of J.J. Finch because they got Ruffin. Why the heck are they bringing in Darius McKinley? It's not just Darius. His brother, Dominic, who Ohio State was after in the class of 2024, I believe, he's at LSU right now. So honestly, this could be a way for Ohio State to try to get his brother to come over here too as a transfer. I wouldn't be surprised if Blaine Bradford's brother comes here too, who's also at LSU. Because that was LSU's way of trying to get Blaine to LSU. Like, hey, Blaine, your brother's here. Come play with him. Well, now we're hitting Jacob Bradford with, hey, Jake, your brother's here. Come play with him. By the way, Blaine will be at the game too. So that's cool. Obviously, class of 2027, long list. I mean, obviously, Brady Edmonds will be there. I know he's going to be all over Brock Williams. Of course, you have Kellen Weimer and Mason Wilt. 2 recent commits will be there. Jackson Roper, one of the top O-linemen in the class from Colorado. Okay, that's cool. He'll be in town. Abraham Cisse, Gabe Jenkins. I think he's a former Penn State commit. He'll be there. Angelo Smith, of course, will be there. I think he's been to every game, obviously, because that's Jeremiah's bro. But yeah, pretty lengthy list. And then, of course, back to the class of 2026, Drake Quinn, uncommitted. He decommitted from Clemson, I think, last month or a while back. A lot of talk about him potentially being a Buckeye. Buckeyes love where they stand with him. I think he has one more visit next week, and then that's it. Man, if we can get him to commit here and cancel that visit, oh, that would be a massive W. Massive W. Now, looking at the Boom Watch side, not really much has changed. But they did add Eli Johnson to the class of 2027 Boom Watch list. And in terms of, no crystal balls yet, of course, you have CJ Bronaugh, who is in town tomorrow or this weekend. But also Brock Williams, Nate Kamba, and Josiah Molden, who were recently given RPM rates increases for the Buckeyes, who now lead. And then, again, for the keep an eye on, you have Drake Quinn, Danny Odom, although I'm not really feeling too good about that one, especially if they get Bronaugh. And then, of course, you have the tight ends, Nick Lauder and Preston Frizzell, and then Darius McKinley. Now, with that out of the way, let's get into my keys to a Buckeye W tomorrow night. Number 1, this sounds kind of wrong, but give Nico PTSD from last year. Remind him what we did to him last year. Do it again. Except for the crack in the helmet thing. I don't think UCLA has the funds to replace 2 helmets. I don't know, though. I don't know. They better bring a couple helmets for him. Damn. But, yeah, essentially, beat up Nico. Sounds so wrong, but, like, dude, beat him up, man. I mean, take his will out of the game, Beat him up to the point where he essentially says, I'm out of here. Hey, Madden, who's his brother, get in there and take a beating for me, please. I mean, just get after him. Sack him like 10 times. Number 2, let him keep it close. Because if you let him keep it close, you give them hope, then they are going to go out there and try to beat you. Right? Go out there, take control early, and don't look back. And number 3, stay locked in mentally. Last week, it seemed like we were sleepwalking. We still beat them by freaking 20 plus. Should have been 34-3, but it is what it is. Stay locked in mentally. Don't be, looking ahead a couple weeks because, yeah, the game's coming up quick. We only have 2 more weeks left in the regular season. My God. Signing day is like a few days after the last game. That's crazy. But yeah, stay locked in, right? Stay locked in and go out there and kick some butt. Now we go to my players to watch. And on offense, it's Bo Jackson. Get him the rock and let him work his magic, right? That'd be cool to see him actually score a touchdown. Last week, should have had a touchdown. Flag. Let's try that again without the flag this time. Okay? All right. And then on defense, I'm going linebackers because it's going to be up to them to try to contain Nico. Essentially, do what you did against Damon Williams against Nico. Because again, Nico is a running quarterback. You get after him, contain him, and let the big boys up front get after him, right? Or let the big boys contain him, and you, the linebackers, go after him. Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles, the other guys that we have there, Peyton Pierce. Maybe we even see some Riley Pettijohn. If you're a linebacker and you're playing, get after Nico. I need Matt Patricia to send the horde. And then as far as my prediction goes, it's pretty simple. Buckeyes 42-6. I don't think they stop us. They might be able to contain us for a quarter or a half, but no, by the third quarter, I think we're practically waiting for the backups to come in. UCLA is not very good. They had a nice little run where they won 3 in a row against mid to bad teams, but now they're facing the upper echelon of the Big Ten. They got smoked by Indiana. I think we pretty much do the same against UCLA here. I don't think it's close. I think by the end, the stands are cleared out pretty much, and the backups are in the game. Right? So, with that being said, and heck, if it comes down to it, I might be on here doing another Kevin Harlan impression, calling both games, talking about Georgia and Texas or something. Who knows? But yeah, with that being said, guys, if you stayed this long, if you watched the video through everything, for all 27 damn near minutes, give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll see you guys tomorrow night on the main channel, Crazy Dog Sports, for this game. I'm ready. 2 home games left this week and next week. Oh man, can't believe it. Signing day will be here before I know it, and then the playoffs begin. Conference championships and stuff. Oh, it's gonna be fun. But with that being said, oh by the way, don't do what my shirt says. Don't do what my shirt says. By the way, Choke is the official soft drink of Team Up North football. All right, guys. I'm Crazy Dog, coming at you on the Bucking Crazy YouTube channel. Take care of business tomorrow night, right? And maybe we get some booms. We'll see. I'm Crazy Dog. Let's go, Bucks. OH. I'm out. Bye-bye. Yeah.